The last 2 years have been messy. I'm talking about life in general, of course, but regarding the world of human resources, well, they are on a different level because us mere mortals couldn't handle the mess they had to deal with. Recruiting, payroll, benefits, talent management, compliance, onboarding, disciplinary action, leave, work comp, working from home, it barely scratches the surface of what HR deals with every day. By the way, we have a team that does all of it. From the home base in Brookfield, Wisconsin, welcome to the latest episode of Inside Connect and Simplify, sponsored by the Benefit Companies. Roger here, human capital management consultant and podcast host for this episode about our human resources services available to all our clients. Who better to tell all about what we offer than a 25-year veteran in HR, and that would be Kim from our BenHR team. Kim, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Roger.
So if I had you laundry list everything our HR department offers our clients, I could literally leave the room and grab lunch, and when I got back, you'd be halfway done. So we're not going to do that, but let's talk about how you help our clients. Tell us more or introduce us to the BenHR team.
We have an incredible team of HR professionals who come with a world of experience in different industries. They support BenHR with back office administration all the way to consultative services.
So how do you and the team help our clients who are ready to make a move from doing all the HR work in-house to hiring us? I'm thinking specifically about a couple of my clients that you have helped and how that came about.
It's interesting because employers reach out to BenHR for a variety of reasons. Sometimes there's not enough work for an internal HR person. Sometimes they're looking to downsize staff that might be considered overhead. There could be a recent loss of HR staff internally, or the more poignant one is just not knowing what they don't know. So when we work with these clients, our main goal is to identify their immediate needs and pain points.
Since our HR offerings are really an a la carte service, the client can use you for one-off things like a handbook or an audit, or the other end of the spectrum, which is becoming the entire HR department for the client. So talk about how some of our clients utilize our HR team.
Right. So the beautiful thing about our services is we do not have monthly fees. You basically pay for what you need in the moment, which really keeps our clients in control of their projects and their costs. It's a bit of a la carte menu. So you might need some help with compliance, recruitment, employee relations, onboarding. I do have clients that we support. We are their full-time HR support. And what that means is employees have access to an HR professional, all levels of employees in the organization, from the employee to the leadership team. We can support people full-time, or they might need a one-off situation handled. Tough employee relations issues, a need for a crucial conversation, or advice on leaves of absences, providing reasonable accommodation under the ADA, or simply creating and administering policies.
All right, so I'm listening to all that, and you said a term I don't know. So what is ADA?
ADA is the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay, so explain what an example might be of an ADA situation.
Sure. Well, there's lots of examples, but what an interesting one that just came up recently was client called and said they have an employee that is demanding that they get to bring their emotional support animal into the company during the workday. And of course, what we do is we help resolve that issue by saying, well, tell me a little bit about this employee's condition. Tell me a little bit about what kind of animal. I mean, are we bringing in a horse? Are we bringing in a snake? Are we bringing in a dog? I think that could make the difference. And then we determine, well, what's the law? What does the law say about that situation? That's the part our clients don't know about. Tell me about how the employment law is going to work to our benefit or could possibly get us in some hot water. So we determined what kind of animal it was. We determined what the Americans with Disabilities Act says. And then we determine how the employer best approaches the employee with their decision.
So I'm laughing a little bit, and I think where I'm going to go with this is I'm going to go Google search ADA support animals and see what the craziest story is, but that's later. So let me ask this then. So when I'm talking with prospects, I can hear a prospect say, how is BenHR different from Bamboo HR or Bambi or MRI? I mean, we've talked about what we do, but why are we the optimal solution for a company looking for HR expertise?
I can actually answer that pretty easily. Our customer support is in real time for our clients. There's not a help desk. There's not a ticket. There's not wait times. The client has a direct line to an HR support team member for whatever their need is at the moment.
Okay. So let's also just touch briefly on where we work and where our clients are located, because we do work nationwide and most of our clients are actually here in Wisconsin. So where are our clients?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Although we're based here in Wisconsin, we actually have clients that have their businesses in other states, or they have employees that are working in a number of different states, which you might think might be difficult to support them, but it actually doesn't. Clients reach out to us for outsourced services for a number of different reasons. The cost of having somebody internally, but more importantly, we can provide support that is going to be confidential. It gives an employee access to an HR professional in a very sensitive situation. All of that can be accomplished with reaching out to us remotely. That could go for training or advice. Most of that is done over the phone. I do have a client that is actually in Washington, D.C. I am their full-time HR person. So the employee is introduced to me, handle all their onboarding. They know if they have an issue, they can come to me, and I support them with their other payroll and employee relations tasks and strategizing with their leadership team.
Nice. So there's been a ton of things going on in the last 2 years as we kind of led the whole conversation off with. What are some of the biggest issues people like you are facing outside of recruiting that maybe you want to touch on?
Yeah, the ever-changing world of regulation. That's the part that clients are fearful of. That's what keeps them awake at night. They don't know what they don't know. And they may not have somebody employed that keeps up on those types of things. Employment law. BenHR makes it our business to keep up on those things. And COVID is a perfect example of that.
So thinking back to the first two clients I introduced you into, and it was both the same thing. They didn't know what they didn't know. They thought an audit would be a great place to start because they had no idea what they needed. So they wanted to be compliant, but they didn't know what that meant.
Right.
And then they said, okay, so now that that's done, how can we work going forward? And that's exactly how those two cases, totally different companies, started, which is, again, one of the ways we get introduced in. So it's all about compliance. And that seems to be the word of the day. All right. So we're going to wrap this up for the moment here. We're going to come back. I'm going to ask you to come back and talk more about BenHR and how we use the HR module in our human capital management platform. We're not going to do that today. But for right now, give me a 1 minute or 30-second commercial about BenHR. What is it that we do? Go ahead.
BenHR is here to support clients with their human resources responsibilities and compliance so that they can focus on their business.
Nice. All right. So thanks for talking about everything HR today. Appreciate that. And telling us about the BenHR team as well and what we're capable of. So when I have you back, we're going to talk about human capital management and how HR fits into that. That'll be another discussion. So thanks for being here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Roger, very much. And I'm excited to talk about our human capital management system because our team demos the product, we configure the product, and we support the product. And it's nice to have an HR professional that understands both sides of that dynamic.
Excellent. So to learn more about our HR offerings and how we take care of our clients, go to connectedsimplify.com, or you can call Kim directly, 262-207-1999 at extension 181. We would love to help you eliminate your HR pain and get you HR efficient and compliant. Thanks for listening. Be well.
Find our podcast inside Connect and Simplify in all of the following places, so you can listen anytime, anywhere. Go to connectedsimplify.com/podcast to find our entire library of podcasts. You can also find us on Alexa, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Listen Notes, Google Podcasts, Pandora, and Podbean. Thanks for listening.